Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson, and I'm channeling the man on the moon. Today, I want to look at Biden and just try to uncover why he is so unpopular. In my personal opinion, is more just people are just fed up with the American government. It just doesn't work. It's just not working anymore. One Joe Manchin sinks all boats. So I'll try to get my opinion out of the way here, out of the way, and see why do people, well, why is Joe Biden so unpopular with these statistics? Okay, one thing that they're showing, and I kind of wondered about this, is we counted on these statistics before the last election and they were wrong. So the ability of people to predict things, the ability of the statistics to accurately register what's going on, it's not working like it used to. There has to be shifts. So maybe people are just generally fed up with the government, Republicans, Democrats, and the whole lot. And so it's looking bad for Biden. That is one thing, but I see this kind of zigzag going up and down, and it's like almost a cycle of people getting fed up with the government. It has also the feeling that in a flash, Joe Biden could become much more popular depending on events. As I'm saying this, I'm seeing it really uptick. And I was just kind of thinking to myself, if the crisis in Ukraine, if they manage to push back the Russians, or, there's good news on that front, boom, he will go right up to the top. So that would also help to end inflation and things like that. So on a dime, this could change. That is one issue. What else? He's kind of effervescent. He does kind of good things and they just kind of get dispersed out into the universe. When Trump was president, every single day he was hammering on YouTube, hammering on Twitter, hammering. And he always had, of course, Fox News there as cheerleaders of deception, right? So, Biden doesn't have that. But one thing that he should have learned is, you got to be out in front of the cameras, making statements every single day. Why doesn't Joe Biden make YouTube videos? I make YouTube videos. If anybody's got a connection to the White House, tell them, look, you can make videos twice a week. It's not that hard. Just tell people what you are doing. And also, for God's sakes, go on the offensive. Why does Manchin get to go on Fox News and, sink the boats? Why doesn't Biden get out there ahead of time and say, hey, West Virginia, there are a lot of people, and this is something the wise Lena Rodriguez has pointed out to me, Katie Porter, Oyeta, all of these guys, they should be making video after video after video every single day. They should be throwing that out there. It's free. I mean, what's the issue that they should be speaking? AOC, all those people should be speaking every single day. And it's like they're kind of hiding out and sort of hoping the Republicans will play nice. And it's like, when are you going to get over that delusion? Recently, I just put out a video with intuitive, came of intuitive view, and we got some advice from Abraham Lincoln, who said, whenever you can, bring people together. So I do understand this sort of desire of the Democrats to try to compromise, to try to bring reasonable people into the fold, to try to get something done. But I understand the desire, but there are Republicans, they're just intractable. They're never going to change. They're never going to give you a break. If the situation were reversed and there were 51 Republicans, do you think they'd have any hesitation ending the filibuster? It is a distraction. It is really an excuse that people like Joe Manchin make so that they can keep getting money. So realize that, I understand the situation is a difficult one, but the solution is a simple one. They need to get out there and talk over and over again. They need to keep talking and talking. There are reasons for inflation, some of which are just companies making money. Maybe I can ask Spirit about that, right? And again, I'm going to shut out my own opinion here. Why is there inflation? Yeah, I do get there are certain people within the field who are cranking up the prices because it's benefiting them and because it's hurting Biden, right? Shell Oil does not want Biden to win. They don't want they don't want him to have any power whatsoever. So there are these powerful people behind the scenes who are making these decisions, who are causing this to happen. That's not the only reason for inflation. There are many reasons, but one of the principal one is oil. America's an oil independent country. We don't need oil of foreign countries. Nevertheless, the price is going up. Why? If we don't need the oil from any other countries, the people who are raising the prices in the United States are raising them for their own profit, not because there's a lack of oil, right? So they're just arbitrarily, causing damage. So what should, well, let's start with what should Joe Biden do? Get out there, widen your circle. I really see it as like, here's the planet and there's nothing orbiting the planet. He needs to leave the planet of the White House and go and orbit. He should be on the attack every day. And when I say the attack, you don't have to become Trump. You can just go out there and be honest and say the truth. And, Trump could blame everything on the Democrats. So why doesn't Biden blame things on Republicans? Why doesn't he point out who has taken money from the National Rifle Association when he makes his speeches? It's just a sort of method that used to work, in the 90s. This method of trying to be reasonable worked to some degree, but it is no longer working. And you can be a reasonable person, but just go out there and preach this message. Keep saying it over and over again. There are key issues out there that most people are behind the Democrats on. So why do they not hammer and hammer and hammer? There is a bit of a lack of boldness on the part of Biden. He doesn't say things. It's almost like Trump can go out there and have an opinion. At least he has an opinion. The body of politicians that we have will never say their opinions for the most part. Biden needs to go out there and say controversial things and not be liked by everyone. It's the old problem that the Democrats have had. They're just too wimpy. They don't do anything. They're always worried about perceptions, so they never lead. And I shouldn't say never lead. They don't lead as much as they could. So what about Democrats in general facing this election? It's interesting because Liz Cheney's face comes up, and I just, as I was saying that they're not bold enough, here's an example of a bold person, Liz Cheney. She's going against her own party. Now, that's the kind of boldness that we need from Democrats, is to come out and be more aggressive and speak truthfully to people instead of couching everything in a hem-ha maybe. Okay, here's a really interesting image. I see a planet and it's coming apart and coming back together again. So part of what's happening is that we're experiencing a lot of changes, and nobody's quite sure what the implications are of the changes for humans. It's just so vast and complicated. It's just so big, and again, imagine your planet's being pulled apart. That really is happening in a sense that we're all sensing a big shift in society and culture. The whole planet is experiencing this great shift. You can look at just, what jobs people have and see this incredible shift. And no one knows quite where to go and how to put it together. So one problem is that no one is coming up with a vision. No one is saying the truth. A certain new kind of way of being is coming into the fold, and there's another source fighting it. We've got to address, let's just call the changes what they are. But Democrats are, that's like kind of too wacky for them. They're still establishment people, but nobody's really coming out and saying, this is a new world. This is the reality. The reality is manufacturing jobs aren't coming back. Let's do something. And, you can't sit at home and wait for, coal to come back. You have to have a job. You have to go to these, you have to change. No one is, everybody's compromising so much that they're not leading. And they're not seeing the truth of what's going on right now. So once again, what can Democrats do? I should say, what can the left do? Realize that they're not going to be able to work with a lot of people. You're just going to have to go and, again, Trump had no problem pissing people off. Just go ahead and, on common sense issues, go for the issues. Go for the fact that there's no reason to have assault weapons in the United States of America. Absolutely zero reason for that. It does not help anyone. So they should go after these Republicans full force, because most people don't want those weapons, and stop worrying about it. It's almost like you just want the Democrats to do the right thing and stop looking at the writing on the wall. Just, go for, overt and open ideas. And there is hope here. I do see some Democrats coming up and, doing the Katie Porter thing, doing the, I'm not sure if it's Ojeda or Yetta thing, coming out and saying the truth, making strong positions, asking difficult questions, making their opinions clear. There are Democrats that are getting closer. They're getting pushed to do this. It's a silver lining to all these terrible things that are happening, that finally they're getting motivated to not be so milquetoast. Yeah. I don't think that the, we keep reading the dire consequences, the dire circumstances of how, everything's been redistricted, and the Democrats are going to lose the House. I wouldn't be so sure. I think the Democrats might lose a few seats, but as I look here, the dial goes just a tiny bit to the right. Now, Spirit, am I looking at the House? Yes, I think I'm looking at the House of Representatives. So I'm just going to try to picture the states here. That's what I mean by House of Representative, the states, the counties, all that stuff. So not the senators, but the House of Reps. Okay, a rather confusing image. Spirit, can you send me another image? It's unclear. I don't think I can say yet what's going to happen, but I have it's not a clear image, but I do have a feeling of this, just a few more Dems than Republicans. That's the present image. I don't know if that will, I'm gonna have to do reading again on this in the future. What about Senate? Hmm. Show me again the Senate. Again, I get a tiny tick up for, well, actually, this is a little different. I actually get a 1 or 2% improvement on the for the Dems in the Senate. Now, this is all really premature. I can't swear to any of these things, and things are going to change over the next 6 months. But that's the point that I want to make. A lot is going to change in the next few months that will alter the course of the election. There are many, many factors going on here right now. But do not be totally fooled by this prediction that everything will be lost. It's not as predictable as it used to be. And in some sense, people are trying to prepare us for the worst, right? Because it was so devastating the last election with Trump and Hillary Clinton. So keep this in mind. What is the meaning of all these battles, Spirit? We are, being called. We're just the situations have become so appalling that people who don't necessarily speak up all the time or think about politics are coming forward. I have an image of Biden, and Biden is actually getting a little bit more outspoken. As this happens, he will become more outspoken. The Republicans have really messed up opinions on several issues, women's rights, gun rights, and that resonates with most Americans. They may not like the present situation, but they will understand the importance of these issues. This is what Democrats need to do. They need to hammer and hammer and hammer these two issues and more before the election. Thanks so much for watching.